Not so much during the day, but overnight, well, the last couple of nights we've had close to 100 mil of rain. You know, it is a country of extremes. You know, that's not too bad. I mean, there haven't been any serious flooding. There has been flooding, but not seriously. It doesn't rain a lot during the day. Now, this is where I go on my walk. And even then I couldn't get across there. So it's dropped a lot since last night. You can see where the water got up to there. You know, then you got your fires. This time, just over a year ago, it was like this. And now it's like this. There's the bridge I go over every day. And normally, there's not anything in this. It's a canal, water canal. There's nothing in it. And it's only been since these rains that we've been getting that everything is green. Usually there's nothing. It's just like this dust. You can see the water level there where it came up to, so it's dropped quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, alright. I didn't see that. Did you mention that?
I just, I've seen it high. It wasn't dangerously high, but man, we've had some. I don't know what we got last night, but I know the night before we got 50. So taking up from where we left off last week, I'm starting to realise now that this drawing is actually going to be a little bit more complicated than I first anticipated. And I have to say, that usually is the case anyway. But I want to try and get as much detail into the burnt part of the post there, the rail. So I'll spend a bit of time on it, even off camera. It would just take too long otherwise. So I've got a funny feeling we're going to be doing another part to this, because I really want to do it justice. It's one of these processes where you just do a little bit at a time. Stop, have a look. Go back over it. There's a lot. This is really all about putting down graphite, blending it, and if you notice, I'm holding 3 implements in my hand. I've got that's an HB mechanical pencil. That's an HB. That's an HB. The other one was a 2B. Yeah, and also I had my blending stump. Well, actually, more of a tortillon. And the other implement I had, of course, was my Tombow eraser, mono eraser, which I find extremely helpful in these types of drawings. You know, using my electric USB eraser, just making little wee fine little dots. A lot of this is so repetitive, and that's just how it is, because you're just using the same techniques, just in different places, different positions. But it has to be in time lapse, because it would, you know, to sit and try and watch it would be, unless you're really drawing along, it would take too long. You know, there's no real rules in drawing. You sort of just got to play it or draw it as you see it, and that takes practice, takes time. Well, there are some rules. I mean, for example, you've got to have patience, because everything does take time. But I always think, well, that time's going to pass anyway. Another thing too, you have to be observant. And I like to really study the the reference photo before I actually get started on the painting, on the drawing, sorry. I'm trying to give the brain, my brain, as much information as I can. And of course, you've got to practice. We do have to practice. That's where we get better at it. But there's no point in practicing, bad habits. That's why when we make mistakes, we've got to be aware of that, so that when we, go back to the drawing, or that we know that we can't do it like that because it won't work. And there's times when I know when I'm drawing and I'm thinking, oh, I can't do this. It's just too hard. It's just, how do you do it? And then, after a good night's sleep or something, your brain sort of works it out. It must have, somehow it works it out, because I've never ever had a problem where I haven't been able to do something. And I'm using a 12B. I didn't even know a 12B existed. I saw a fellow creator, I don't know who it was, but using one, and I never ever knew they went that dark. Like I was saying, if you ask your brain the question, especially after you've studied the photo, the reference photo, just about 9 times out of 10, I find that in the morning you sort of go, oh yeah, why didn't I try that? Why didn't I think of that? So I try that, and generally it works. But one of the most important things with drawing is you've got to take regular breaks. At least 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, 40 minutes. In my classes we go to 40, 45 minutes before we have a little, just a 5-minute break, a few stretches and that. Otherwise the time just goes so quick. And before you know it, 3 or 4 hours have gone. And you can't sit still for that long yet. Well, it's not good for you to do that. I'm just going back in, and it's a process of taking out, adding, blending, and then going back over again. And you'll see things. You always see things by referring back to the photo. And quite often, like I'm drawing away, and I don't even know what I'm doing, and I think, oh, this looks terrible. But when I stop, have a break, and then go back to it, I go, oh no, that's what I was trying to do. It's looking all right. Try not to be too hard on yourself, and I have learned over time that you just take your time. Once you've studied the photo that you're trying to draw, the reference photo, and you work it out, somehow your brain and your hands coordinate. Amazing what fresh eyes see. Starting to get into a little bit of the detail now. It's sort of pretty much a little bit of line drawing, pretty much under drawing, but I'm also getting in some detail. And I know that I'll have to go back over this because it's blending, and blending will sort of remove some of the detail that you put in. That's right. You're going to go back, you know that. Sometimes I can't wait to get to bed so I can get up in the morning with fresh eyes and start. Especially when I'm working on a project. See, I'm always going back into different bits in there, and you see things. Yeah. Well, I decided to leave it there. Well, strengthening up that chain mesh from now, and we'll come back, and hopefully part 4 will be the end. We'll have a nice drawing at the end of it. I really want to put some detail into this drawing. Well, I hope you're enjoying this series of the bushfires that we had back in 2019, 2020. It was just a time when it was unbelievable. It was a really freaky time to be here. And I know in different parts of the world, from what I'm hearing from the comments and that, from my subscribers, it affects a lot of the world. So I guess it's just my way of saying thank you. Thank you to all the men and women, all those volunteers, the frontline staff, the police, the professional people who are out there, the chopper pilots, everyone that's involved in trying to save property and lives. So I've had to do them in time lapse and keep them nice and short. So to keep you interested, so that you're enjoying what I'm sharing with you, and I hope you are. Now this is the 3rd one in the series, and if you'd like to go back to the beginning, to the first one, I'll leave a link up here, or you may want to just look at some of my Fun Times family art, which I've designed for the whole family to get involved, and it's a lot of fun. I've been getting a lot of comments from people how much they're enjoying it, and I know you will too. Give it a go. Now I'd like to give a shout out to a YouTube artist that I follow. She's a beautiful artist, and it's Enjoy Drawing with Mary. Now she loves painting with watercolours, watercolour pencils, and highliners, markers, pens, Zentangle inspired art, fan art, anime art, and mixed media art. She's an all-round artist. Beautiful art. The fantasy drawings she does is really incredible, and she believes that creativity and imagination contributes to making the world a much more beautiful place to be in. And I agree with her 100%. The more diverse art, the richer the world. Well, isn't that amazing? That's how she looks at her creativity. I'll leave a link in the description below. Check her out, because I know you're going to really enjoy her style of art. It is amazing. I love it. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. Leave a comment. And I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. Ring the bell. It would really help my little art channel out. And you could also buy me a coffee or a beer. I've left the link there in the description as well. It's a thirsty work, this making videos and being an artist. Well anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.